Welcome to the Writer Reads Ransomeers Book 1, A Planet's Ransom, Chapter 2, Worst Week Ever. You see, to start with, we were kept aboard the buses until one of those aliens, I have to call them Evernatch when they can hear me or see my texts, but you and I know they're just aliens, rude ones who took us from our home. Anyway, they kept us on the buses until one of them came and took our names, put them on something resembling a computer tablet and handed it to the soldier at the front of the bus. It, although I later found out, it was a she. Anyway, it also took a blood sample from each and every one of us, and data from that went on the tablet too, transmitted straight from the finger pricker via wireless. For DNA coding, she said, like any of us believed that. I was getting pretty set to misbehave when they finally let us off the bus. Stay in your groups, the alien told us. We wouldn't want to shoot one of you by accident. It wasn't what she said. I mean, yeah, sure, right? Like they'd really shoot one of us. But it was the way she'd said it. Like it was a fact of life, not a threat to keep us in line, but just another fact of life, like suddenly being ripped off your world and stuck on a spaceship. If we were even on board a spaceship, for all I knew, some smart aleck had filled the bus with happy gas and we were blissed out of our skulls and safely back on Earth. Whatever it was, I took a good look around me, took note of the aliens on the walkways above the buses, saw the long black gun shapes they were holding in their hands, and decided now was not the time to push my luck. I looked around and saw my classmates coming to the same conclusion, even poor Callie. I felt sorry for her. She was having the worst week ever, and it was only Tuesday afternoon. 'Cause when else do you tell your kids you're leaving them with their dad because you can't be bothered being tied down anymore? Why, on a Monday night, just after they've been told their assignments are due a week early and that those assignments are going to count for half their school leavers assessment? Yeah, good one, Mum. Follow this with your dad telling you his girlfriend is going to move in as soon as your mum's moved out, especially when you never even knew he had a girlfriend and your world's pretty much shot to pieces right there. Poor Callie. I guess getting kidnapped by aliens would be about the only way things could get worse. For a minute I toyed with the idea of blaming Callie for what had happened, and then decided against it. She had enough to deal with without me helping her feel worse. I glanced back at where her besties had their arms around her shoulders and saw a couple of the guys hanging close by. It took me a minute to recognize them, but everything was pretty obvious when I did. Robert Schnaps and Willie Terrell. Okay, William Terrell. I didn't know him that well. Most of the guys called him Bill, but Willie was just fine with me. Besides, it annoyed 10 kinds of stuffing out of him and stopped me feeling bored. I swear, one day he was going to break his rule about not hitting girls, and then I was going to be in trouble. So the aliens moved us out of the buses, with the soldier boys keeping us in 2 straight lines, like the boarding school girls in that kids' show my little sister thought was so great, and we walked out of the hangar where all the buses had been transmatted and into the ship's holding centre. Of course, back then, I didn't know what transmatting was, or that spaceships even had holding centres. I was only just finding out that interplanetary annexation was a thing. Back then, I was well and truly off balance. Lucky for the Evernatch. So we trooped into the holding centre where they took the tablet from the soldier and then made him stand in line with the rest of us. He looked like he might argue, or like his world had just been broken into tiny bitty pieces, but he didn't say a word. He just stepped back into line. I might have thought he was one of those lapdog types, except I caught a look on his face that told me otherwise. It didn't last long. In fact, it came and went so fast I thought I'd imagined it. But now I know I didn't. Nah, Mitch might be a year and a bit older than me, but we've come to an understanding, and when it comes time we can misbehave, those scaly sons of lizards aren't going to know what's hit 'em. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We went into the holding centre where they got our names and our DNA, and then the fun began. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this reading, please hit like. If you want to hear more, please hit subscribe. I'll check you later. Take care out there.